Welcome back to Chunk Style Remix. I'm Bryce, and bad as ever, and today we are delving into the world of Frostgrave. Frostgrave is a narrative war game in which the players take on the roles of powerful wizards and lead their small war bands into the frozen ruins of the city of Felstad in search of lost treasure, enchanted artifacts, and forgotten secrets of magic. That just seemed easier. So yes, today we are painting a wizard to lead my warband. And as much as I did try to plan out my painting scheme as much as possible, I did end up winging it quite a bit, due to either me simply changing my mind or fixing things that I didn't quite like. I say this because I recorded all of the paints I was going to use, but then by the end of it, after I was done, it was completely irrelevant. All in all, it was a learning experience, and I got it done, which is where the bar is for this channel. So let's waste no more time and get right into it. Alright, and here is our wizard gentleman. He's looking good. I'm going to prime him matte white because I only have two primers, matte black and matte white. And I felt because we're going to be using some lighter colors that this was the way to go. So in Frostgrave, you have a choice between a bunch of different kinds of wizards you can make. And the one that we're going to go with is an elementalist. Elementalist? Pretty sure I got that right. Well, we're going to see in a second. Elementalist, yeah, exactly. And so this one is just like the classic wizard trope. It's like it says here, usually loud, explosive, in unsubtle ways. He can control the four elements, and it says that, you know, they're kind of flashy with like facial tattoos are not uncommon and all that. We're not going to go too crazy because I kind of chose a very bog standard Gandalf looking figure because I love it. And we're kind of going to go with like a Merlin kind of look, like that you saw like from the old cartoon and whatnot. So we're going to do an ultramarines blue and then go over it with plasmatic bolt speed paint just to make it look a little bit more wizardly. And look at it, I saw an influencer do this. I didn't do it very well, and these paints are irrelevant now. Here is this in comparison to the first model I made. So this is going to be one of my smaller models that I've ever done before, which it'll be interesting. So I'm trying to leave these sleeves at the end here because I thought maybe they were like sleeves, like cuffed, like they were rolled up. But in reality, I actually found that on the other side that they have like these little clasps. So they're some sort of almost gauntlet or arm guard. So we're going to leave those and then paint them brown along with the rope and the shoes. I was going to paint the little circle around the hat where it's probably like a band of some kind, a different color, and then I forgot, so I didn't. This is the leather brown we're going to use, especially for the, at least as a first coat for the ropes that are all around, and I end up really liking the ropes. Oh, I thinned it out way too much here, but that's okay, we go over it again later. But I like these ropes, it actually really helps break up the all the blue. And then this little pouch he has on the side here for, I imagine it's the gold that he uses to hire the mercenaries to be his warband. Coming together, kinda. All right, so I was really torn on what to use here, Crusader skin or Warrior skin, the pale reddish brown or the light reddish brown, because I've never painted flesh of a human before. And looking even at the bottom here, it's really hard to tell because they're speed paints, and I really didn't know what to do, so I just went with Warrior skin because my man's a warrior. He's one of them super cool wizards like Gandalf. Now, unfortunately, something you'll notice here is that I accidentally got a little blue splotch on his face when I was doing the underside of his hat. And being that these are speed paints, they are not going to cover that up. I'm going to try to fix it later, but I didn't even really notice it. I could see much better the details on the model when I'm editing it than when I'm actually painting it. And I mean, I'm using a lot of light when I'm painting too. I have an overhead light, RGB lights on white overhead. I have a lamp to my left and a key light to my right. And even then, I still feel like I can't see some things sometimes. And for the beard, I'm going to try to make my own gray, and it kind of turned out kind of gross, but it still works. But yeah, so when I'm painting, and I also finally just got new glasses after not having them for a year, a little over almost a year and a half, which I need. So hopefully that'll help in the future as well. You may have noticed also that I was using the plastic again as my paint palette, and it's just because it was there. I may as well use those up and make use of them. Waste not, want not, and all that. So we got the warrior skin again because I forgot to do the hands. The hands become a whole thing later. I missed the tiniest part of his hood here on the back, and trying to just use the plasmatic bolt wasn't the best way to go. It really stands out. But here he is the next day, I believe, and so it's a little splotchy. We're going to end up doing another layer of plasmatic bolt. All right, for the scroll, we're going to use this pallid bone, and it goes on really light. So we do end up putting this on and then letting it completely dry, and then we're going to do a second coat a little later. I was happy enough with how this turned out. Maybe I would have done a little bit more to dirty up the scroll, because this huge flat portion on the front is a little bizarre. It almost was kind of like a focal point, like it expects you to paint something really neat on it. And I try to do some like little scribbly, like faux cursive on it at the end. But even then, it almost kind of takes away from the rest of it. So maybe I can get like a cool transfer to put on it or something to kind of give it like a neat scroll like spell look to it. But yeah. And for the staff, my initial thing is to go for this Wraithbone White. I wanted to give it like a Gandalf the White kind of vibe. And we do our best. We do our best. And this was my idea, to do some kind of highlighting of the skin, which looking back now was just so unnecessary. Right here, it's okay because I'm trying to cover up the blue splotch that I got on his nose, and that's all right. But I mean, other than that, if I had just let the speed paint do its thing, it really created a lot of excellent highlights and shadows on its own. I don't know if it was just my eyes without glasses or the lighting as I was painting it, but it just looked so dark, and it wasn't until I started trying to do highlights on them that I realized they were absolutely fine. And I am just struggling to get that part covered, that blue splotch on the nose. Fairly certain I just gave up. I'm like, hey, you know what? Good enough. His hat covers it. Hopefully no one ever picks up this piece and looks at it and inspects it. This was the biggest mistake. I was trying to do some sort of highlighting on the hand, and it just... Oh man, as I'm doing this, I'm just like, oh crap, no, this was bad. Nope, it's ruined. It's bad. And I did not know how to fix it. I just kind of like moved on for a little bit and decided I was going to tackle that a bit later. That was another example of me just not letting the speed paints do what it needed to do. And also, I think I just put the speed paint a little too thick. I forgot this little bit here. So here I decided to use the matte black and just paint in the base because I haven't been doing that with my other ones and it is starting to irritate me. I said before that I'm probably going to do a video where I just do all the bases and like do a lot of interesting basing at first and try it out. But in the meantime, I just did this one black and use some dark wood speed paint for the boots and also use on the pouch. And you'll notice also with these Frostgrave minis is that they already stand on their own as like a kind of like built-in little base, but then they also have these circular bases that you can glue them onto, which I did for the gaming purposes, and it also just makes them more sturdy. So I was going to try to use the dark wood speed paint as well to go over the ropes around the chest and everything and the waist, but it wasn't dark enough to cover the fact that like I tried to keep the blue off of the ropes, but when I was painting, but it was inevitable for me. So I decided just to go back to the regular leather acrylic and just go over them with the second coat, and that helps cover up a good amount of the blue that got on them. I'm using this zealot yellow just to give this like this beacon at the top of the staff, this emerald kind of showing here. It's just where all the power is supposed to emit from. And honestly, just one little go by itself, I think turned out pretty cool. And then I tried to use some of that gray to dry brush a little bit onto the beard. As you can see, my brush, when I'm trying to dry brush, does that thing where all the hairs are splitting into these different spikes, and it's just not, I don't know how to fix that. And I go back to the pallid bone to try to salvage this hand that I ruined with the highlighting, and it does not go well. It doesn't work. Lord, I tried. That hand looks so good. This is the hand that if I had just did the warrior skin and left it alone, it would have turned out. And this one looks so nice. And this one looks like he's just been like punching mud. I don't know. It's awful. We're gonna make that future Bryce's problem, and we're gonna keep on trucking. We got hoplite gold to do the band around this like powerful stone, and just threw a couple of the bands on here. And yeah, well, this is where all the gaudiness for the elementalist wizard is going to go, is just in the staff, since the rest of his outfit's pretty pragmatic. All right, so that hand is just killing me. I hate it so much. It is ruining things for me. So we're going to get creative and do something completely different. We have Flesh Terror's contrast paint, and we are just going scorched earth on this. We're going to use it on the entire staff, and we're going to use it on the hand as well. And now we just changed the lore of this character, of this model. So now this staff is just barely contained energy that is coming from him and imbuing into the staff, lighting it with this deep Flesh Terror's red, and his hand is red as well. It's not perfect, but there we go. Now we've incorporated my mistake into a story for the character. And if you didn't know any better and you asked, hey, what was going on with that, I would just explain that and you'd think I did it intentionally from the get-go. It is by no means perfectly executed, and there are things in the future that I probably want to do to fix it up a bit, but in the meantime, it makes me feel a bit better. And here's my little attempt at some scribbles, which is harder than you'd think. And with that, he is done. So this was an interesting model to paint. It was easily one of the smallest detailed models that I've done so far out of these videos. As you'll end up seeing, like I showed at the beginning, it is the same scale. It's 28 millimeter, but because he's this hunched over wizard gentleman, I mean, even compared to the knight from my first video, he was quite a bit smaller, and it was very fun to paint, but it was a huge learning experience. And it's making me very much look forward to painting some of my Warhammer again, particularly some more of my Flesh Terrors, because as you can see here, putting a Primaris Marine next to the Wizard shows just how much bigger they are, and makes me a lot more confident to do some cool things with them in the future, going forward. Learning, learning, learning. Always learning. Every model so far in my videos has had its own set of unique challenges, and no matter how straightforward I think something will be, I will inevitably be tossed a curveball. And as usual, there was a few times where I simply wanted to quit, but I pushed through it and at the very least got it table ready. And the feeling of finishing it, regardless of how I feel about it at the end, is better than the guilt of giving up. I do want to fix up the wizard a bit soon, with some highlights, adding more stuff to the staff and hand to make the effect that I was going for by the end of it a bit more clear, and to possibly add some washes and oils. Oh god, I scratched where the zit's coming in. If you have an idea for oils and washes, let me know in the comments and I will absolutely take it to heart, because I'm not really sure what to do with it yet, or even if I should. Next video we'll be painting a Goblin and Ratkin soldier from the Kings of War 2-player starter set, War in the Holds. I hope to see you there. Take care of yourselves and keep on painting. Farewell.